I'm Lauren McCluskey. I was 21 years old when I died. October 22nd, 2018. That was supposed to be just another Monday evening. I just finished my communications class, was heading back to my dorm, talking to my mom on the phone like I did every day. I had no idea those would be my last words to her. That she'd hear me die. I didn't know that morning would be my last. I'm telling you this story not because I want to relive my final moments, but because I need you to understand what happened. How the systems that were supposed to protect me failed. How 20 calls for help weren't enough. How the people I trusted most looked the other way while danger closed in on me. If my story can save even one person, if it can make one police officer listen, one university official take action, one friend speak up, then maybe my death won't have been completely meaningless. This is what I wish I could have said. This is the voice that should have been heard. Let me take you back to when I was more than just a headline. More than Utah student killed by ex-boyfriend. I was a person. I had dreams. I loved karaoke and stand-up comedy. I volunteered at the Humane Society because I adored cats. I had two of my own, Fuzzy and Victory. I was a Christian who thought deeply about philosophy and right and wrong. I loved dancing with my friends. I was shy meeting new people, but fearless when climbing trees. I was born February 12th, 1997, in Berkeley, California. My parents, Matt and Jill, were working on their PhDs at UC Berkeley. We moved to Pullman, Washington, when I was just over a year old, after they both got jobs as professors at Washington State University. Dad taught physics. Mom taught agricultural economics. They were brilliant, loving, supportive. My little brother Ryan and I had the kind of childhood where you feel safe, where you know you're loved unconditionally. From the time I was 2, the paradox was clear. I was shy around people, but fearless when it came to physical challenges. I climbed trees like gravity didn't apply to me. My parents joked that they could never keep me grounded. When I was 8, they entered me in a Junior Olympics track meet in Spokane. That day, I set records in 3 events: the 400-meter run, high jump, and long jump. 3 records in one day. By the time I was 9, I qualified for nationals. At 10, I took 5th in the pentathlon. Track became my life. I earned USA Track and Field All-American honors 19 times. 19. I set so many USATF Association youth records that 12 of them still stand today. In high school, I was Washington State champion in the high jump. I set the Pullman High School record for the 100-meter hurdles. But if you'd asked me about my accomplishments, I would have deflected. I'd have talked about my teammates, my coaches, my family. I never wanted to make it about me. My work ethic was exceptional. My coaches said I never complained, even when the weather was terrible or practice was brutal. I graduated from Pullman High School with honors in 2015. I had scholarship offers from several universities, but I chose the University of Utah. Their track program was strong, and I liked the idea of being somewhere new, somewhere I could push myself. College was hard at first. I was shy, and suddenly I was at a school with 32,000 students. The pressure to perform athletically, maintain my 3.77 GPA, and make friends was overwhelming. But I did it. I truly blossomed at Utah. I joined the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I attended Capital Church in Salt Lake City. I made close friends. I was a heptathlete on the track team, and I was months away from graduating with my communications degree in May 2019. I was so close to everything I'd worked for my entire life. But there was something I didn't have much experience with: dating. In high school, I'd gone to a few dances, but never really dated anyone. I was too focused on track and school. Even in college, for the first 3 years, I didn't date much. My life was practice, classes, homework, repeat. That changed in September 2018 when I met someone at a bar near campus. His name was Sean Fields. At least that's what he told me. He was a bouncer at the bar. He seemed nice. Older than me, sure, He said he was 28, a student at Salt Lake Community College. He was charming in an old-fashioned way. He brought me flowers. He took me to nice restaurants. He seemed romantic, attentive. I was 21. I'd never had a serious boyfriend. I didn't know what red flags looked like. We started dating in late September. It got serious quickly, too quickly, looking back. But at the time, I thought it was just how relationships worked. He told me he loved me. He wanted to spend all his time with me. It felt special. Then, in early October, just before fall break, I saw his state ID card. The name on it wasn't Sean Fields. It was Melvin Sean Rowland. And the age wasn't 28. It was 37. My stomach dropped. Why would he lie about his name? His age? He had an explanation ready. He always did. He was persuasive. He said he had fake identities for various reasons he couldn't fully explain, but that made sense in the moment. I wanted to believe him. When you care about someone, you want to believe their explanations. I flew home to Pullman for fall break the first weekend of October. I met my best friend from high school, Regina Snyder, at our favorite spot, Birch and Barley. I told her about the ID card, about the lies. She looked at me with concern in her eyes. "Lauren, that's really weird," she said. "You need to be careful." I knew she was right, but I also didn't want to believe I'd been fooled. I talked to Sean or Melvin or whatever his real name was on the phone while I was home. I even had him say a quick hi to my parents. I didn't tell them what I'd discovered. I didn't want to worry them. But when I flew back to Utah, I knew I needed answers. That's when a friend at school told me the truth. She'd looked him up. Melvin Sean Rowland was a registered sex offender. In 2004, he'd been convicted of forcible sexual abuse and enticing a minor. Both felonies. He'd spent 10 years in prison and was on parole. He'd lied about everything. His name, his age, his criminal history. Everything. I felt sick, betrayed, stupid. How could I not have seen it? On October 9th, 2018, I broke up with him. I told him I knew the truth and that we were done. I thought that would be the end of it. I thought he'd leave me alone. I was wrong. After I broke up with him, Melvin started texting me. At first, he was apologetic. Then he was angry. Then he started extorting me. He had my car. We'd been using it to get around, and he still had the keys. He also had intimate photos of me. Photos I'd sent him when I thought I could trust him. Now he was threatening to share them with my family, my friends, my track team, unless I paid him $1,000. I was terrified, humiliated. But I did what you're supposed to do. I asked for help. October 10th, 2018. My mom called University of Utah police on my behalf. She explained the situation. She said I needed help getting my car back from this man, that I didn't feel safe going alone. The dispatcher said they'd send someone to help me. They sounded so reassuring. "It's going to be okay, Jill," the dispatcher told my mom. "We can definitely send someone with her." I called campus police myself. I filed a report. I explained that Melvin was extorting me, that he was a sex offender on parole, that he was harassing me. They took my report. They said they'd investigate. Over the next 12 days, I called campus police 20 times. 20. I filed multiple reports. I met with officers. I gave them everything they needed. Melvin's name, his description, his criminal record, the threatening texts, the extortion, everything. My friends were worried too. 2 of them went to my resident assistant and said they thought Melvin might be dangerous, that they were scared for my safety. The resident assistant forwarded those concerns to her superiors. Nothing happened. October 12th. I went to the campus police station in person. I showed them more evidence. I begged them to help me. They said they were working on it. They said they'd run a check on Melvin. They did run a check. But their system failed because it didn't recognize his driver's license number. So even though Melvin was breaking parole by dating me, by extorting me, by harassing me, his parole officer was never notified. If they'd been notified, Melvin could have been sent back to prison immediately. But nobody called them. October 13th, I called again. And again on October 15th, and October 17th, and October 19th. Each time, I gave them more information. Each time, I told them I was scared. Each time, they said they were investigating. One officer even shared my intimate photos with other officers who weren't involved in the case. Photos I'd given them as evidence. They passed them around like it was nothing. Like my humiliation was entertainment. I kept calling. I kept asking. What else was I supposed to do? October 19th. I went to Salt Lake City Police. Not just campus police. I filed another report. I was doing everything right. Everything you're supposed to do when someone is threatening you. But October 22nd came anyway. It's Monday night, October 22nd, 2018, around 8:30 p.m. I'm walking back to my dorm, the Kahlert Village Residential Scholars Community, after my night class. It's a clear, cool evening. Campus is busy with students heading back to their rooms, studying, living their normal lives. I'm on the phone with my mom. We talk every day, sometimes multiple times. She's on the Stairmaster in her basement in Pullman. I can hear her breathing slightly heavily as she works out. We're talking about normal stuff, my classes, track practice, life. I'm walking through the parking lot when I see him, Melvin. My heart stops. What is he doing here? How does he know where I am? No, I say. My mom hears the panic in my voice. Lauren, what's wrong? He's walking toward me, fast, too fast. I try to move away, but he's already there. He grabs me. I can't scream. I can't get away. Lauren? My mom is shouting into the phone. Lauren? What's happening? I can't answer her. He's forcing me toward my car, a red Hyundai Accent parked in the lot. I'm fighting, but he's stronger. He has a gun. I see it now. Oh God, he has a gun. He forces me into the backseat of my own car. I'm terrified. This can't be happening. This can't be real. I did everything right. I called for help. Why didn't they help me? The gun goes off. The sound is so loud, impossibly loud. Then there's pain, sharp and burning. Then another shot, and another. 4 shots. 4 times he pulls the trigger. I think about my mom on the phone. Is she still there? Can she hear this? Oh God, I don't want her to hear this. I think about my dad and Ryan. I'll never see them again. I think about graduation, May 2019. I was so close. I think about all those calls I made, all those reports I filed, all those times I begged for help. Why didn't they listen? The pain is fading now. Everything is getting quiet, distant, like I'm underwater. And then, nothing. I'm watching now from somewhere beyond. I see campus police arrive. They find my body in the backseat of my car, parked near the Kahlert Village dorms. 4 gunshot wounds. Gone. Students are gathering. Some are crying. Some are filming on their phones. Campus is in chaos. My mom knows. She was on the phone. She heard it happen. She immediately called 911 from Pullman, begging them to send help to the University of Utah. She knew. She knew before anyone officially told her that I was gone. My dad was right there with her. They held each other and waited for confirmation of what they already knew in their hearts. Their daughter, Lauren, was dead. Police are searching for Melvin. They find him hours later at the Trinity AME Church. He's cornered. And rather than face what he's done, he shoots himself. He takes the coward's way out. The news breaks. University of Utah student athlete killed on campus. That's all I am now. A headline. A statistic. But then people start asking questions. How did this happen? Lauren had called for help, multiple times. Where were the police? Why didn't they respond? The University of Utah initially denied any wrongdoing. They said their officers followed protocol. They said there was nothing more they could have done. But my parents knew better. My mom, a professor herself, started digging. She requested records. She demanded answers. She wasn't going to let the university sweep this under the rug. The investigation revealed everything. How campus police had run a background check on Melvin, but their system failed. How they never contacted his parole officer, even though he was clearly violating parole. How 2 of my friends had reported concerns to housing officials, and nothing was done. How an officer had shared my intimate photos with colleagues. How I'd called 20 times and nobody truly listened. December 2018. An independent review team released their findings. The University of Utah Police Department was understaffed. Their officers lacked proper training. Their protocols for handling stalking and domestic violence were inadequate. The system had failed at every single level. My parents filed a lawsuit. Not for money, but for accountability. For change. For acknowledgement that the university had failed me. It took 2 years. 2 years of my parents fighting, grieving, demanding justice. Finally, on October 22, 2020, exactly 2 years after my death, the University of Utah settled for $13.5 million. $10.5 million to my family. $3 million to the Lauren McCluskey Foundation, which my parents had established to improve campus safety and support amateur athletics and animal welfare. But more importantly, the university admitted fault. University President Ruth Watkins stood at a press conference and said the words my parents needed to hear. The university acknowledges and deeply regrets that it did not handle Lauren's case as it should have, and that at the time, its employees failed to fully understand and respond appropriately to Lauren's situation. As a result, we have failed Lauren and her family. They failed me. Finally, they admitted it. The settlement included changes, real changes. The police department was restructured. 93% of the officers who were on staff when I was killed are no longer there. The university created the McCluskey Center for Violence Prevention. They implemented new training, new protocols, new leadership. Melvin's parole agent also faced consequences. The system that allowed him to stay free while violating his parole was exposed and reformed. As for the officer who shared my photos, he faced discipline. But he kept his job. That still hurts, even now, even from wherever I am. My parents took their pain and turned it into purpose. The Lauren McCluskey Foundation doesn't just exist to remember me, it exists to protect others. My mom created something called Lauren's Promise. It's a pledge that professors can include on their syllabi. It reads, "I will listen and believe you if someone is threatening you." Lauren McCluskey, a 21-year-old honors student athlete, was murdered on October 22nd, 2018, by a man she briefly dated on the University of Utah campus. We must all do better. Professors across the country have adopted Lauren's Promise. Thousands of them. It means that students know they have someone they can turn to, someone who will listen, someone who will believe them. The foundation has also partnered with organizations teaching self-defense to young women. One of my former teammates, Mesa Weidel, now teaches self-defense. She says, "It's your right to say no to anything that makes you uncomfortable. If they don't listen to you, you can back that no up." I wish I'd had those skills. I wish I'd known. The University of Idaho, where I used to train during Pullman's snowy winters, named their new track after me, the Lauren McCluskey track. My parents donated $1 million to help build it. It's beautiful, state-of-the-art, and it has my name on it. Every athlete who runs on that track will know my story. Every year on October 22nd, the University of Utah hosts events in my memory. Lauren's Lap, a 5K charity race, self-defense training, vigils. My parents attend, my friends attend, people I never met attend. I see them all. I see the impact my story has had. Universities worldwide have changed their policies because of what happened to me. Stalking is taken more seriously. Victims are believed more quickly. Police receive better training. It's not perfect. It never will be. But it's better. And maybe, just maybe, my death saved someone else's life. If you're watching this, there's something I need you to hear. Something I wish I could have said when I was alive. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Don't ignore red flags because you want to believe the best in people. Don't make excuses for someone who lies to you. Don't stay with someone who makes you feel afraid. And if you're in danger, if someone is threatening you, harassing you, stalking you, ask for help. Call the police. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell your professors. Don't stop asking until someone truly listens. To the people who are supposed to protect others, police officers, campus officials, resident assistants, counselors, please, please, listen. When someone comes to you saying they're scared, they're not overreacting, they're not being dramatic, they're asking you to help them survive. I called 20 times. 20 times I asked for help. I did everything I was supposed to do, and it wasn't enough. But it should have been. Don't let my story be in vain. Don't let another person call for help and be ignored. Don't let another family bury their child because the system failed. To my family and friends, I'm so sorry you had to go through this. I'm sorry for the pain my death caused. But thank you for not letting me be forgotten. Thank you for turning tragedy into change. Thank you for making sure my voice is still heard. Mom, Dad, Ryan, I love you so much. I'm sorry I couldn't come home. I'm sorry I won't be there for birthdays and Christmases and all the moments we should have shared. But I'm still with you. In every cat you see at the Humane Society. In every athlete who runs on my track. In every professor who takes Lauren's promise. In every student who gets the help they need because you demanded change. I wanted to graduate. I wanted to go to the Olympics. I wanted to fall in love with someone who deserved my trust. I wanted to be a mom someday, to make Mother's Day cards for my own children like I made for you, Mom. I wanted to live. But that was taken from me, by a man who lied about everything, by a system that failed to protect me, by officers who didn't take my calls seriously enough. My life was 21 years long, too short, unfairly short, but it was a good life. I was loved. I loved. I achieved things I'm proud of. I made a difference, even if the biggest difference I made came after I was gone. Remember me not as a victim, not as a headline, not as a cautionary tale. Remember me as Lauren, the girl who climbed trees, who broke records, who volunteered at the Humane Society, who loved her family fiercely, who did stand-up comedy and karaoke, who thought deeply about philosophy and faith, who was shy but brave, who was strong but gentle, who deserved to live. My life was taken, but my voice remains. And if you're listening now, if you're hearing my story, then I'm still being heard. That has to mean something. That has to be enough. Thank you for taking the time to hear this story. Every voice matters, whether they survived to tell it themselves or whether we're telling it for them. These stories aren't just about tragedy. They're about courage, truth, and the refusal to be forgotten. By watching, you're helping to ensure these voices continue to be heard. If this story resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support means more of these important stories can be shared with the world. I have so many more stories to tell. Survivors who fought against impossible odds. Victims whose deaths sparked change. People who deserve to be remembered. Drop a comment and let me know. Whose story do you want to hear next? Your voice guides which stories I tell, and together we make sure no one is silenced. Thank you for being part of this community. I'll see you in the next one.